You're listening to 101.1 FM WBRULP, WFOOLP, WVVXLP Providence. I'm your co-host, Dhruv
And I'm your co-host, Alejandro Jackson.
And this is the Outta Pocket Podcast,
where we pull conversation topics out of our pocket
and occasionally go out of pocket.
On today's show, we're talking about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and consumer culture, especially around the holidays, which are coming up soon.
Yeah,
So first things first, as of the recording of this, as of the release of this episode, Thanksgiving would be yesterday.
Yeah.
So happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, folks.
Everyone who celebrates, who partakes. Take a moment to be grateful. You little shit. No, I'm joking.
Bruh.
I'm joking. No. Hey,
yo.
I'm kidding.
Pause. Anyway, so the release of this episode should actually coincide with Black Friday. So if y'all are feeling a little bit generous on this wonderful, joyous day of bargains and discounts,
feel catch free us at cashapp.com/the
Feel free to slide us a fresh pair of Jordans, though.
You need a fresh pair of Jordans.
Size 11.
Man, oh shit. Okay, anyways. I'm the same size, but whatever, regardless. What was I gonna say? What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Going back home to Atlanta. Flying out actually like in less than 24 hours, so pretty excited. What about you?
I mean, same. Going home and doing a bunch of work, because for those who listened to our 2 episodes ago, your boy got sick and now he's playing catch up, so I'm going to be going home and doing a whole bunch of work from the comfort of my room with my reclining chair, because I guess that's the only plus side.
Must be nice. Yeah, bro, you're playing catch up, but where's the mustard at?
I don't even know how to respond to that. Anyways, I'm going home, probably eat good food, chill, do work. Well, to chill my ass, but do work.
Facts.
And just wait to come back.
Yeah. It is trippy that in a month, semester 3 will be over. And low key, bro, good riddance.
Nah.
Low key.
That's the high key. Yeah, this semester is one of the weirdest 2 or 3 months of my life. But anyways.
That's not what we're here to talk about today. So we're here to talk about Black Friday and Cyber Monday and consumer culture.
Yeah. So, I guess we'll start off with history of Black Friday, because I think the context is important. So what do you know about Black Friday?
Yeah, what I know about Black Friday is basically it's the Friday after Thanksgiving every year, although within my lifetime I've sort of noticed that it transitions from Friday to the entire weekend now.
Yeah, we'll get into
now that we got Cyber Monday. But it's a time where a bunch of things are discounted, and you're supposed to get great deals on everything, and so that's why everyone goes out and tries to buy as much stuff as possible. You'll see news stories about rampages in Walmart and people throwing hands to get with a 5-year-old to get their hands on a PS5, which frankly I respect.
Hey.
These kids,
I'm not gonna lie,
these kids ain't worth it, bro.
Spider-Man 2 for the PS5 dropping next year. I still need a PS5. So
those kids don't stand a chance, bro. We're both 6 feet.
That game, I need to play that game. That game's fire.
And anyway, as for the history of it, all I know is that the name sort of I used to think it was sort of associated with black, it's a time of darkness, it's ironic because everyone sort of gives into their greed. That's actually not where it comes from, although it kind of feels like it should be where it comes from. But it comes more from the idea that around this period every year, people are starting to buy Christmas gifts, and we enter the holiday season, time for thanks, whatever, yada yada yada. So businesses were able to, if they were in debt during the fiscal year, aka in the red, this would be like sort of a time where by selling a lot of stuff, they can go back and be quote unquote in the black. Basically, like they're turning a profit again.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's a bit of context. Well, I mean, part of it. I do want to introduce this article from history.com that I found interesting. So, you guys thought you got enough of Ale reading on our Reddit episode? I'm about to spin the block on everybody. So I will read this article because I think I should do it justice by providing the context in its entirety.
The whole thing?
Yeah, it's not too long, so I can cover it. But here we go. The first recorded use of the term Black Friday was applied not to the post-Thanksgiving holiday shopping, but to financial crisis, specifically the crash of the U.S. gold market on September 24th, 1869. Two notoriously ruthless Wall Street financiers, Jay Gould and Jim Fisk, worked together to buy up as much as they could of all of the nation's gold, hoping to drive the price sky high and sell it for astonishing profits. Dang.
Yeah, that checks.
That's some
checks out.
Super villain behavior, menace type beat.
I mean, that's just America, bro.
Yeah. On that Friday in September, the conspiracy finally unraveled, sending the stock market into freefall and bankrupting everyone from Wall Street barons to farmers. The most commonly repeated story behind the Thanksgiving shopping-related Black Friday tradition links it to retailers. As the story goes, after an entire year of operating at a loss, quote-unquote in the red, as Dhruv explained earlier, stores would supposedly earn a profit, in parentheses, went into the black, on the day after Thanksgiving because holiday shoppers blew so much money on discounted merchandise. Though it's true that retail companies used to record losses in red and profits in black when doing their accounting, this version of the Black Friday's origin is the officially sanctioned, but apparently according to this article, inaccurate story behind the tradition. So in recent years, another myth has surfaced that gives a particularly ugly twist to the tradition, claiming that back in the 1800s, southern plantation owners would buy enslaved workers at a discount on the day after Thanksgiving. Though this version, the Black Friday's roots have understandably led to some to call for a boycott of the retail holiday, has no basis in fact. But that's an interesting take. The real history behind Black Friday, however, is not as sunny as retailers might have you believe. Back in the 1950s, police in the city of Philadelphia used the term to describe the chaos that ensued on the day after Thanksgiving, when hordes of suburban shoppers and tourists flooded into the city in advance of the big Army-Navy football game held on that Saturday every year. Not only were Philly cops not able to take the day off, but they had to work extra long shifts dealing with the additional crowds and traffic. Shoplifters also took advantage of the bedlam in stores and made off with merchandise, adding to the law enforcement headache.
Quick pause. Of course this happened in Philadelphia, bro. Like, oh my god.
What you mean by that?
Bro, like, UPenn single-handedly bringing that city down. Yeah, we got beef. We got that intercollegiate beef.
Bro, I mean, it's
UPenn
on
students, it's on site.
Nah.
Square up. Nah, I'm messing.
Are you though?
We'll leave that up to the listeners to decide.
Okay, we're about to get pulled up on now.
Oh, shoot.
By 1961, Black Friday had caught on in Philadelphia to the extent that the city's merchants and boosters tried unsuccessfully to change it to Big Friday in order to remove the negative connotations. The term didn't spread to the rest of the country until much later, however, and as recently as 1985, it wasn't in common use nationwide. Sometime in the late 1980s, however, retailers found a way to reinvent Black Friday and turn it into something that reflected positively rather than negatively on them and their customers. The result was the red to black concept of the holiday mentioned earlier and the notion that the day after Thanksgiving marked the occasion when America's stores finally turned a profit. The Black Friday story stuck, and pretty soon the term's darker roots in Philadelphia were largely forgotten. Since then, the one-day sales bonanza has morphed into a 4-day event and spawned other retail holidays such as Small Business Saturday and Sunday and Cyber Monday.
Small Business Saturday and Sunday, my ass, bro. Anyway, continue.
Whoa, hey. Stores started opening earlier and earlier on that Friday, and now the most dedicated shoppers can head out right after the Thanksgiving meal.
True.
I think the ending of that article is particularly interesting. This idea that this quote, the Black Friday story stuck, and pretty soon the term's darker roots in Philadelphia were largely forgotten. And I think it speaks to this larger idea of, to be frank, the capitalist mindset of like how they you kind of can put a spin on everything and try to sell it.
You're being frank, dude. I thought you're Ale.
Bro, you were just like...
I'm on a roll. I'm on a roll.
Man's tumbling, bro. Roll my ass. You are...
Roll your ass. Pause.
Okay. Anyways.
I don't know. I'm on something today.
Hey, yeah.
It's the veggie pizza you gave me, man. I had all 4 of those slices.
Damn. Okay.
I'm in that food coma right now.
All right, I respect it, but yeah, I think it's interesting how they take this idea and try to spin it to sell products to like really increase profits, and they kind of largely wiped away the negative context behind Black Friday, and so now we're where we are now with this holiday and all of its retail, consumerism, extravagance. But yeah, any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I mean, I think it's interesting to see that obviously the people with money are the ones in charge of the narrative behind this holiday. Quote unquote holiday, but we're just going to just keep referring to it as a holiday for
sure
the rest of the episode. I feel like it just makes discussion of it easier, but
I think let's be honest, because I'm not going to be frank after that abysmal joke you made. That has just happened throughout history, and this idea that those in power are able to, really influence the narrative and what gets told at the end of the day, and so
it has to do with sort of people's access to information too, because if you're living in California, chances are you probably hadn't heard of what people were calling the day in Philadelphia. So when it finally gets around to you that companies are calling this day Black Friday and they're not telling you the full story, then, you're not going to be able to, there's no point in even trying to, think that critically about it. Because,
I feel like you won't really question it.
Yeah, exactly. There, you would see no reason to question it.
Yeah, there's local stores oh, Black Friday. And then you're like,
sure, why not?
what's this about? They're like, we just trying to make bread.
I respect it, bro.
You'd be like, okay, discounts? That's crazy. Let me slide.
They gotta make a ban. Also, yeah, I it's wild to me that I think the last sentence of the article was something like, now the most dedicated shoppers leave right after their Thanksgiving meal. That's crazy. It starts on Thursday now, and I remember when it used to be oh, you wake up really early in the morning on Friday.
Well,
then it got to some point where it's
people camp out.
People camp out, or
I feel like
stores opened on midnight, so technically all of Friday was Black Friday. And now it's just we ball, Thursday is when Black Friday starts, and it stretches out to the end of the weekend. I don't know, it's I don't know. I feel like we can get later on in the episode and then talk about the other sort of conversations to be had around it. But for now, I'll just leave on the point that I don't know. I feel personally, because my birthday has always, I say I say always been as if it was ever going to change. My birthday is in early December, which means that at least when I was a kid, most times my parents would, ask me what I wanted for my birthday so that they could go and get me a present on Black Friday. And it's it's cheaper. It's just more efficient, So that's why sort of I don't know. That's sort of the memory Black Friday holds in my mind. And I think it starts to speak to something deeper, maybe more sinister if you'd like to consider it that way, but about sort of why we have this day in the first place. But yeah.
Yeah, so just a little not side note, but a little digression from the conversation. So I was actually yesterday Sunday, today's Monday, right? Yeah, yesterday Sunday in the morning I went to go to the bathroom actually in Buxton, and I ran into Jared. Jared, a good friend of ours.
Shout out.
And I was talking about podcasts, whatever, and the episode we were gonna record. And so Jared referenced this book called Friday Black by this African author, Nana Kwame. Not sure how to pronounce that last name, but just with the first two names, you can find it. But I thought it was interesting because it's a series of short stories, and from what I understand, because I haven't read it, but I do want to bring it up because I think it's relevant to the conversation. It's a series of short stories essentially about the Black identity in like America. But one of these stories is sort of about Black Friday. And I'll read this Wikipedia quote so people get an idea. It follows its protagonist, a department store salesman, as he copes with, quote, vicious, insatiable Black Friday shoppers who become violent and animalistic in their desire to shop. And like the way Jared explained to me is that it's sort of like almost like an apocalyptic type, like where like everybody's a zombie and like basically trying to survive.
They're all losing their mind.
Black Friday. Which, then we get into the sort of scarier parts of Black Friday. People tend to die on Black Friday every year, purely because of the pandemonium that occurs when those doors open and people ravage the store to try to get their hands on the cheapest products that they can or like the products that they've been desiring at like probably the cheapest prices they can get them at like all year round. And so there's a series of stories of people getting trampled or people attacking other people for fighting over a product, like the last one in stock or the other side and the other. And so there's a very dark side to Black Friday, and the things that stem from it. So what about you? Any?
I don't know. It's like, it's interesting that you sort of say that. I guess someone's already come up with this idea, but yeah, Black Friday does have a darker side to it.
Well, I mean, I think I feel like that's been pretty voiced. Like,
and
like I think every year you hear stories of like, something that will happen, something that went on.
I feel like I've been hearing less of those stories.
Well, yeah, we'll get into that, but with the growth of the internet.
Yeah, true.
Good old Bezos boy.
Because the internet.
Bezos. Shout out Gambino. Shout out episode 5.
Yo, low key.
What?
Gambino? Sponsor? Question mark?
Sponsor the podcast.
Collab?
I mean, I would like lose my mind.
Oh yeah, no, like, hands down. He could rap over the intro. I cooked up a beat for you.
You're gonna be like,
I cooked up a beat for you,
like,
Donald.
this whack, bro.
Bruh. Nah, have you heard the beat to some of his songs? You got some whack beats in there. I'm sure he can rap over our. Anyway, I digress, man.
Maybe. I'll email him. I'll have my manager contact his manager.
Alright, bro.
Anyways, so, expounding on that point, here's an article by People Magazine. Man, I'm pulling all the articles. These will all be linked in the Inside the Pocket tab on the website, so you guys can all take a look at these when you get the chance. But these are the most insane Black Friday stories ever from 15 retail workers who are still scarred. I mean, obviously, that title's a little played up, but it really sort of talks about that darker side of Black Friday. Like, damn, you're lucky.
What?
Okay. Basically, disclaimer. Damn, I'm going to hell. I can't say anything. Like,
bruh.
Basically, the first one is, I saw an elderly woman steal an ice cream maker out of a man in a wheelchair's electric car.
Oh my god.
And the thing is, like, I don't want to laugh at that, but like,
hey yo, that's crazy.
Hey yo, I'm about to get canceled. Like, yo, I'm sorry. Okay, I can't help it. It's a little funny.
Bro, of course it's a little funny. Yeah, no, we're getting canceled.
Yeah, no, it's over. But anyways, when I worked at this is the second one. When I worked at Walmart, we had a fight break out over a bike. Fists were thrown and there was some blood. Eventually, one guy got a hold of it and managed to get away from the crowd. He rode the bike out of the store without paying.
I respect it,
bro.
Dang.
Number 3. Someone punched the security guard in the face because they thought he was a customer skipping to the front of the line. He was just walking in the door to start his shift.
Wow.
Bro, man, I got sparked like just on coming to work. 4. I watched a woman collapse into hysterics into my manager's arms because we didn't have the exact model of cooler she wanted. 5. A lady called 911 because we wouldn't price match with Best Buy. The police came and arrested her for misusing the emergency service. 6. When I worked at Sam's Club, we caught a woman stuffing the inside of her pants with frozen lobster tails.
Yo. Pause.
She would unpack them and throw the trash in a stack of tires that were on display nearby. Yo.
What? Dude, it is absolutely
I got issues with
wild to me what people are doing.
That is like beyond unsanitary. Like,
well, what was her intention with them? Surely she wasn't gonna eat them.
What else would you do with them?
That's disgusting.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, number 7. One of our male customers hit another male customer upside the head with a crock pot.
Rip.
What were they fighting over? The crock pot. Both customers had to be dragged out of the store by police. Number 8. These are all quotes, by the way. Number 8. They tore down our mall's door. Again.
That's tough.
Number 9.
Shaun of the Dead type beat.
For real. There was a sale, $1 for towels or something. This guy jumped into the towel bin and literally growled at anyone who tried to get a towel. He claimed them all and just asserted dominance.
Bro, I respect that, man. Bro, let the intrusive thoughts win.
Man really said I show speed type beat, bro.
Bro, he like unleashed his inner furry. Like he's released that animalistic behavior, bro.
It's that primal essence. Number 10, Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies.
Yeah, I don't even know what those are. They would toss the Beanie Babies from a bin on a table. People were vultures after these things. I was about 9, and an old lady grabbed a cat out of my hand. I stomped on her foot and stole it back. I was so proud.
I respect that, man.
Bro, yeah. Anyways.
No, low key. You got to stand up for yourself.
We assaulting people, apparently.
Because Beanie Babies are wild, because from what I recall, they're kind of like Squishmallows, where they all had like a limited run, and like, yeah, I think my sister used to have a couple, but like, yeah.
Never. As far as I know, I've never had one. 11. And like, I say that 'cause, like, I mean, I feel like I don't know the demographic of Beanie Babies, but I know like basically at my grandmother's house, like all the like that was like the hub for like cousins. And, like, all the toys that we would, like, have would just end up there. And it was kind of, like, whatever. Like, we kind of shared toys. So, like, everything was kind of, like...
Yeah.
You know, like, basically, the Barbie doll house was mine. Just, like, the, like, Batman...
Right.
Like, Lego set was, like, hers. Kinda, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But, 11. People had been lining up for at least 10 hours. We had tons of things on sale, and most people were trying to score deals on fancy electronics, except for the first person in line. Nope, that person waited all that time for the buy one, get one candles.
Yo!
Not here at Brown University. Can't have those in the door.
Nah, not here at Brown University. It's unfortunate.
Number 12. I worked one Black Friday at the Children's Place, and I saw 2 ladies get into a physical fight about size 2T jeans. It was the last pair, and they were like $6. Not coincidentally, that was my last retail job.
No, that's like, I think the common theme is like all these people are just traumatized, like viewing the underbelly and like dredges of human behavior.
Yeah, so
like it really brings out like it brings out that dog in you, bro.
Exactly.
Black Friday brings out that dog in you.
Oh boy, can't wait for this one. 13. I worked in customer service at a grocery store and once had a customer return a fully eaten rotisserie chicken saying that they were bringing it back because it was bloody. One look told me and anyone else with eyes that the quote-unquote blood was strawberry jam. My manager still made me issue the refund with a smile because the customer is always right.
That's tough. I would have thrown hands.
Bro, man, would have been like, that strawberry jam ain't gonna be the only red colored thing on that rotisserie chicken. Yo, pull ups. And it says
Pull up,
square
pop
up.
out, say your name on the coast.
Number 14, my first Black Friday, I was working at a Walmart. That's where you messed up.
Yeah.
I was
facts.
assigned to be one of the employees that would cut open the packages that contained our merchandise. As I readied the box cutter, I got shoved by a customer and I fell right on it and sliced my hand open.
Ugh. Damn.
And the last one,
Dude, I would have shanked the customer.
hey yo. And last one, number
That
15.
dog in you.
I worked in the women's shoe department at Bloomingdale's. On one occasion, after I had placed a beautiful pair of Ferragamo flats at a woman's feet, she accused me of being racist with how I treated her. Okay. She created a huge scene shouting that I was discriminating against her for how I took the shoes out of the box. Okay, never mind. It made absolutely no sense. 20 minutes later, a coworker told me that the woman that created that entire scene was because she wanted a discount on those shoes, and it didn't work. She got thrown out.
Got him.
Yeah, that last one I just like a bit of hesitancy because I'm gonna be honest.
It's hard to tell.
As a person of color, I
yeah.
feel like you have experiences knowing that a lot of discrimination is comes in the form of microaggressions, and so when people are like, I wasn't being racist, like
this is gaslighting.
But based on what they told me, they weren't being discriminatory. So
Yeah.
I
You
don't
also
know.
can't believe everything you read on the internet.
Exactly. We don't know the full story, but that's why that was the form of my hesitancy, or the source of it, my hesitancy. But I read those stories, to convey this point that like you mentioned earlier, like people are on that flaca, bro. people really be, they on some.
It brings out that dog in you, bro.
Yeah, exactly. But it's very dangerous, not only for the people, for customers who go to these stores to go shop. Man got hit in the head with a crock pot, bro. Like, that is subdural hematoma ? Like, that'll like end your life.
Yeah.
It hit hard enough, and so like
true.
it's a little concerning, and like you said, it also puts store workers at risk who are simply just trying to make a living and survive, and men.
Have you ever seen that meme where it's like Black Friday workers, like on Thanksgiving, and then it's like, the stampede scene from The Lion King?
Oh,
Yeah.
bro. Oh boy. Anyways, and we have one store worker who got pushed and fell on a box cutter, sliced his hand open, and I think this culture we created around Black Friday, we encourage people to rush out, murk their fellow human beings for a goddamn crock pot or some towels.
Jesus.
There's a little, the man got canceled. So.
That's true.
Adidas said, yeet. But
He's gone. You're trash.
well, he's back on Twitter. But,
Is he?
yeah, Elon Musk reinstated Trump, Tate,
Oh, that's
Kanye, and Jordan Peterson.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
This is a different conversation, but I will make my take known. It depends on the case. For some of them, for some of the four, I think it was the reinstation. Is that a word?
I guess.
I think that the revival, the unbanning of their accounts was justified, to be frank. For some of the others in the four, I don't think so. But anyways.
Hot take.
I feel like that's a hot take because I think people will conflate that with me and agreeing with their
them.
takes.
Yeah.
That isn't the word. No, I don't. I just think because I feel, yeah.
We go to Brown University, bro.
I know that I'm gonna have a target on my back.
You gotta. This normally I'd be, what? I'd normally be quoting Hassan Minhaj on this one. You gotta trust your audience to know the line between satire and sincerity.
I feel.
Nah, bro, we go to Brown. These people out here conflating like chicken with waffles, bro. Like,
what does that even mean?
I just said two words. The first two things that came to my head, bro.
Low-key, I saw this thing. So like apparently, somebody. So there's like this thing, right? Where you take like fried chicken wings, and you put them in like waffle batter, and then you put that in like the waffle, like press. So you make like chicken and waffles, but like it's basically a fried chicken wing like breaded in waffle.
Ooh.
So like, and then you put maple syrup on it, and you just bite it, and you get like chicken and waffle in every bite.
Interesting.
I bring that up to say, like, low-key, you can mix the two apparently now. So. But anyways.
Poor example, but either way, yeah, it's like, I don't think I necessarily trust people here to not jump to conclusions and not conflate things. So
I mean, I don't know. I feel like
I don't know.
People. I mean, to be frank, a lot of people who listen to this show. A lot of people who listen to this show are friends of ours, and I feel like they know
that
us.
is true.
Or people who know us, and I think they'll understand. But
that's true. But more often than not, in public situations, I find that it's better for me to keep my mouth shut.
That's the thing. I feel like you got to be careful with keeping your mouth shut, because then your opinion is essentially suppressed by your fear. No, I mean,
yeah, no, I agree.
Your opinion is essentially suppressed by your own fear of the consequences, and I don't think that that's right. I don't think that
it's right either. So, but like, what am I gonna do?
What I seek to do is.
Yeah, people here like to talk a big game about, like, free speech, free your mind, like, I just like to listen, I just want to talk, but, like, nah.
What I seek to do is I will respectfully, to the best of my ability, respectfully voice my opinions, and anytime, like, I make a joke or something, I usually will throw a disclaimer that it's a joke, to make sure people understand that I'm not being serious. So... Yeah, but anyways,
that's what I'm saying.
That was a bit of a tangent. We can have another.
That's like a whole episode.
We can have an episode about this senior year.
Yeah, when we're about to leave.
Yeah, maybe senior year of.
See, I'm telling you, bro, that final season is gonna be.
Do like an AOT. Do just 3 parts.
This is just gonna be like the most devious things we can come up with.
Oh boy. But
anyway, back to Black Friday.
The episode. Well, actually, moving on. So now I want to talk about this whole, I would say relatively new in terms of the history of mankind, I guess. The internet, and like delivery, Amazon, Jeff Bezos, man, made a whole monopoly.
Jeffrey Bezos.
He, Amazon is something I'm sure everybody is aware of, essentially an almost instant delivery service, where you can have a variety of different things shipped to your house, and it has been one of the most profitable corporations to exist on our planet, period. And so, it's without surprise that Amazon partakes in this sort of retail bonanza, I guess you could call it, as well. I don't know if Amazon does discounts on Black Friday, but I know for sure Cyber Monday, which is this whole new, I don't know where it came from, to be honest, and I didn't do history research on that, but Cyber Monday. And I also read somewhere about this idea of Cyber Week, which, to be fair, to be honest, I'm not surprised that, excuse me, sorry, that companies are kind of trying to, stretch this out as long as possible to, really maximize their profits for the year. So, I know you mentioned earlier in the episode this idea of, you feel like you don't see as many stories about, people getting injured as much now. And I would be in agreement. I agree with that. Well, I agree with that. But I also will admit that I feel like I watch the news less now than I did when I was younger.
That is true.
I also may just not be aware of these things. But I think it's undeniable that the blossoming of websites like Amazon, just delivery store, all these stores like Hollister, Abercrombie, Zara, they all have websites that you can just order from and they'll deliver it to your house. And so I think, the internet and online shopping has really taken, I feel like it's taken some of the strain away from Black Friday. And
if anything, it just got, they just placed more emphasis on online shopping during COVID,
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah, for sure. And
hands
so
down.
I think, I think the whole online shopping thing is a way to, not only take some of the strain away from Black Friday, but also just like I mentioned earlier, kind of propagate the what's it called, the like length of this like discount season where they can like maximize profits, because people will be shopping like crazy, and I'll get into in a bit why people will be shopping like crazy. I mean, we've talked about the holidays, but I want to dive deeper into what the holidays mean, which I guess we can do now, to be honest, because I don't know,
sure.
unless you have anything to add about Black Friday.
No.
So this segment of the episode originally was not in the show, but after having taken a trip yesterday to visit my aunt and uncle, who I will save my uncle's introduction for whenever he comes on the show, because I've been trying to get him on the show for forever. He's like amazing to talk to. He's a really interesting person. I had talked to him about this episode idea, and we had a pretty extensive conversation about culture surrounding Black Friday, but also just consumer culture in America in general. We talked about how throughout the series of social constructs that mankind has created, money is arguably the most universal.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one that I don't want to say, I don't think everybody in the planet buys into, because I know there's some what's that island, like it's a really remote island where
the Sentinelese.
Yes, and
the Sentinel Island.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I don't even know, because maybe they have a form of currency within their community or something.
It's really interesting. Someone checked in sort of remotely on the Sentinelese people,
mm-hmm.
and some boat washed up on the island or something, and that like sort of single-handedly kicked off like the Iron Age.
Interesting.
On the island. Like, isn't that crazy? Like,
it's crazy, but also like I feel like I understand it. Like I feel like I think that they're
really out here playing Civ 6, bro. Just unlocked a new part of the skill tree.
I think there's an intrinsic curiosity in mankind that, like, when you find something that you've never been exposed to before, you're gonna try to unlock its potential, and figure out how you can advance yourselves with that, and so I think that's a universal thing that I don't know to what extent currency plays a role in their society, but basically I'm that was a little bit of a digression. I just I say this to say I think one of the things I talked about with my uncle is how currency is a very like almost universal in the sense of on our planet Earth, but social construct that everybody kind of buys into and like acknowledges. Excuse me, sorry. But with that being said, to be honest, America has a bit of like an overarching religion of like consumerism and like and buying stuff, and like it's very like
True.
With the whole, oh my god, what's this period in A push called? The whole
Gilded Age.
Yeah. Which I feel like Gilded Age is like a kind of but like with Rockefeller and like
yeah.
I mean it is Gilded Age. I don't know. I just describe. I always associate the Gilded Age with like corruption.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
yes, but like,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. In my head, well, yeah. But anyway, anyways, another episode, sure, for another time.
Call me John D. The way I'm about to Rockefeller. Papa.
Hey, bro, don't say that. We're sitting in his library, man.
You're right. Wait, pause. Chill.
We're about to the studio's about to collapse in on us.
Oh my god.
We're sitting in the John D. Rockefeller library.
Yeah, the ghost of John D. Rockefeller.
That's yo. Say that shit again. But
that's tough.
But I feel like that really kicked off. Well, actually, to be honest, even before that, this idea of the gold rush of Manifest Destiny, of the Oregon Trail and all that, and like really like conquering and developing and creating things and having them grow. I think that plays into this idea of creating corporations and growing them to be big monopolies and this, that, and the third, and so America, in my opinion, has this, to be honest, like kind of a sort of sub-religion, or like not sub-religion, but like this subconscious belief in like consumerism and buying stuff in in measuring success by like the things that you can buy as you get older. Like for example, as a kid you buy a Hot Wheels car, but you really made it when you can afford that Lamborghini or like the Maserati. But all of that is to preface this idea of Black Friday and how it plays in, like how the timing of year plays into the success of Black Friday. And so one of the things, this is actually a new term or like a new word, which I really like, to be honest, but for what it stands for. But this was something that my uncle was talking to me about yesterday, and it's a Dutch word. Actually, from the research I did, it's actually pronounced Huga, or Huga, but it's spelled Hygge. Well, I mean, I guess using the English alphabet. I don't know how Dutch / Norwegian, because it's a Danish / Norwegian word. I don't know what their alphabet is like. But anyway,
I'm pretty sure they use a Romanized alphabet.
Okay, I'm not sure, but also, yeah, but from my understanding, it's Huga. But it is a word in Danish and Norwegian that describes a mood of coziness and, quote, comfortable, how do you say that? Conviviality.
Yeah.
With feelings of wellness and contentment. So essentially, it is essentially the word that encapsulates this idea that we traditionally associate with the holidays. This idea of comfort, of blankets around the house, of like lighting the fire, and like sitting by the fire with a cup of hot cocoa, and like putting stockings like above the fireplace, and like snuggling up with somebody, and like staying warm, and like decorating the house for like this sort of
listening to Mariah
for the winter.
Carey.
yeah, every year. And so
we're back in Mariah Carey season.
I know.
Now.
Didn't you hear that? Like, I think like right after Halloween, like literally like the day after, like November 1st or 2nd.
Boop.
Yeah, like
the streams
it
always
re-entered the charts or something.
Every year.
But yeah, essentially this word encapsulates that, and so, one of the relationships that my uncle and I, when we were having this discussion, Drew, is like this, is how that like feeling around the holidays kind of plays into Black Friday, because in part like a lot of purchases maybe like new cooking appliances, right, for like Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner, and and like new pots I'm somebody who's guilty of this, but new pots to make special hot chocolate for the winter, and or buying new blankets, like buying a weighted blanket on discount from Amazon so that you can be cozy next to the fire, and this, that, and the other.
These examples getting mad specific, homie.
I don't know. It's just like this is just what yeah.
Getting a glimpse into your ideal
I hate
winter
weighted
break,
blankets, bro.
Huh?
I hate weighted blankets. I just brought those up because I know people love weighted blankets for some reason.
That's true.
I think they're a bit suffocating, to be honest.
They are low key.
But
nah, bro, I'm all about that training lifestyle. Bro, put a weighted blanket on me.
And just walk around the house.
Walk around the house. It's like when Goku was like.
Goku's clothes are weighted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, and there was that one time he was on like that planet.
King Kai's planet.
Yeah, and it had like hella gravity.
Yeah. Well, they'd be doing that. There's a gravity chamber. And you can up the gravity. But Rock Lee type beat. Yeah. So these feelings of comfort that are typically associated with the holidays are very much, I think, tied into, at least in America, definitely I'd say tied into like holiday shopping and Black Friday and discounts around the seasons. I mean, how many times have you seen commercials where like they're trying to get you to buy like something for the holidays? Oh, like another part of the Huga is like lights.
Mm-hmm.
That like so Christmas lights
mm-hmm.
are very much like this idea, because especially like in oh my god, what's the word of it? Where do the Dutch live, bro? Why did I just blank so hard?
Like
country-wise.
Oh, country-wise, like Denmark?
There you go.
Bro.
Hey, sorry.
Ollie gets canceled for forgetting Denmark.
I apologize, please, if we have any Danish fans. I doubt, but if we do, I'm particularly sorry. My brain just had a severe and continuous lapse in judgment. If you know the reference, you know. But anyways, so in Denmark and Norway, around these times of year, as we have gotten very accustomed to living here in Rhode Island, around this time of year, it gets dark mad early. And so, like for example, one of the things that like lights.
Dude, I bet you the sun's already set.
Yeah, it's gone. It's
That's
like by the time we entered this studio and it was still light out, and we are about to leave, and it's gonna be dark for sure.
That's sad.
It is what it is. But
it is what it is.
You know, because the sun sets so early, and during the winter, people see the sun. People don't see the sun very much. Like lights are another part of this like hue that like play into these feelings of comfort, and so I feel like things like that, like weighted blankets around the holiday on discount from like Amazon or whatever, and like Christmas lights and like the cool new like they have so many like different like sort of Christmas light decorations, like the candy canes that you stick in your front yard and like put up, and like they have like Christmas tree like little Christmas trees that light up that you can also put in your front yard and stuff like that. I personally I keep during the winter I keep a mini Christmas tree on my desk at home. I'm like very much so playing into that idea, and so like I think our consumer culture has very much taken this idea of the coziness and comfort, that definitely stems. Well, I want to say stems from the holidays, but is very much more prevalent around the holidays, and have taken it to really sell products and make a profit. But any takes on that? Any?
Yeah, no, I mean, at this point, I feel like we're kind of reaching the last leg.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Of the episode.
There was just one more thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and so I think like this is one of those notes where, I don't know, it's very much true that Black Friday is both like a positive force in some senses, like stimulating aggregate demand, like keeping the economy going, like
not the ADAS curves.
Yeah, literally the ADAS curves. But
not the multiplier effect.
Not the multiplier effect. Yeah, no, that's crazy. AP Econ was a hot minute ago, but
I fell asleep during that exam.
I drew David S. Pumpkins on my exam.
I don't think my mom knows that, so if she ever listens to this episode, I was taking that exam, and I fell asleep during it for like, I don't remember how long. It wasn't super long, but like I remember falling asleep and waking up and being like, oh damn, I can't believe I fell asleep during that. I was like, so then I had to like rush a little bit.
Did you take macro and micro?
No, I just took macro.
Okay, yeah. I took both macro and micro, and I think they were like back-to-back days. So like, I think on one of them I drew like David S. Pumpkins, and on the next one I wrote all the lyrics to Africa by Toto on like one of the pages. It was a good time. It was a good time. I got a perfect score on the micro exam. So like clearly the AP graders saw this shit and they're like, yeah, we'll let it slide.
I got a 4, I think, on macro. So I was impressed. I was better at Gov. I think, or actually, I don't remember I don't remember what I got, to be honest.
Yeah,
I might have gotten a 4 on both of them, but I don't really know.
Here's I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, bro. It doesn't matter. That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, this is a very tangential. But I remember I was sitting at lunch one day with talking with some friends. This was after I had gotten accepted to Brown, and I remember them asking me like, how many classes can you get credit for? And I think I went on the website and I checked, and it was like, and I had taken like 12 APs or something, and I was like, oh, like I think it's like 2 or 3 of them. And they were like, wow. They were, because like I feel like a lot of my friends went to like University of Florida or Florida State University or Florida International University, and they all take like AP credits, and so like for them they like got to skip all these classes or whatever, like save
must
time.
Be nice.
And then they like asked me, and they're like, how many courses of yours like will like get you credit. Well, first of all, the answer is none of them. I don't think, like,
technically you don't get
credit. You just get advanced
for
placement.
certain exams, you get the ability to
like skip,
yeah,
like a course.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, they were like, "Damn, bro, it's like just like bozo," and I was like,
"No, you know it's wild. All 4 of the AP exams I took senior year, none of them counted, and I knew that. I knew that going in. I knew where I was going. Like this is like a month after I'd gotten into Brown, so I'm just sitting there like, bro, what am I doing?
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Is that I remember I was in the Discord for this might have been for I don't know if it was a General Brown Discord or sort of a sub Discord for an academic
a certain academic
program,
a subpopulation, if you will.
Yeah, but I remember talking about like AP exams, and somebody said like, "Oh yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna take my like AP exams," and I was like, "You don't know if you're gonna." I was like, hold up. I was like, hold up, back up. What the do you mean?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, like, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna take them. Like, I have to think about it. I'm like, think about it. I'm like, it's optional. And they're like, oh yeah, like, they were like, oh yeah, like, you know, it's optional.
Yeah.
Bro, my school makes us take them.
Well, yeah, no, I mean.
And so what I found out that day was, so my school actually pays for all our AP exams, so we don't have to pay for anything. But
it's
I guess,
very, very generous.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, not everybody. So I think that's why our school, or like, it was always told to us that like the AP exam was mandatory at our school, which I guess in retrospect I don't really know if it is. Like I don't know if they can really make you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like now in retrospect I understand it was because they were paying for it, so they were like, yeah, boy, you better take that exam. But I remember realizing like the people from other universities, or like not universities, other high schools were like, oh yeah, like it, like basically it's optional for me, but like I have to pay for it. And I was like, dang.
Yeah, dang, that's crazy.
They're expensive. They're like $90, $100.
They're running the pockets, man.
I know.
My high school is similar to yours in that they paid for it, and the policy was like freshman and sophomore year, like if you skip the exam, you'd have to refund the county. But
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair. After COVID though, they kind of dropped that just because like
I think that's fair.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I think that's
so,
fair.
Yeah, no, I remember having like a conversation with my AP Lit teacher pretty much like the week before exams. And I'm like, Miss Cooney, like I don't know if I don't want to take these exams. Like I've really been thinking about it. I'm tired. I want to skip them. Then she's like, Dhruv, I know you. You're going to be mad disappointed in yourself if you put in all this work for a year and you just like skip at the last second.
Yeah, that do be facts. And
I'm
also,
like, yeah, you're right.
Also, bro, the College Board memes that hit after.
Dude,
you can't miss out on the memes.
AP exam memes. Dude, I remember senior year, I didn't take the PSAT for the first year that year. I'm like, dude, looking at all these memes, I'm like, they don't make sense.
I know, the PSAT memes are like glorious. Dude. They're like my favorite. The PSAT memes like sophomore year hit so hard.
Dude, the one about like fertilizing the tomatoes with a toothbrush.
Yeah.
My shrimp of an ex-husband. Yo. Glorious times, man.
Anyways,
we keep getting mad off topic.
The Outta Pocket Podcast, where we pull
conversation
topics out of our pocket.
I guess it's sort of like time to do some verbal acrobatics and make it all tied back. I think me doing this podcast with you, especially as we enter these winter months, is hygge in a way.
It is.
Yeah.
And you know, some more acrobatics. You guys should listen to our podcast episodes on repeat throughout your winter break. You know, snuggled up by the fire. Or if you're from Miami like me, there ain't no fire because goddamn, it's still hot outside. But like, you know.
Yeah, there's just water though. There's an ever creeping shoreline getting closer.
Don't remind me. I was talking about that yesterday with my aunt because I was like my whole retirement dream. Fun fact about all this, like to open a cafe in Miami, like when I'm old and like go back home to where I was born and just retire there and open a cafe or whatever. But I was like, if it's still there, no, that's a joke.
That's tough, man.
But hey, yeah, for hygge, you know, pull up the podcast on Apple Podcast, Spotify, the website, and just, you know, listen to some glorious episodes from the Outta Pocket Podcast by your co-hosts Dhruv and Alejandro Jackson.
Hell yeah, man.
Where we pull conversation topics out of our pocket and occasionally go out of pocket. Anyway,
last minute.
So the last point I wanted to talk about, which, you know, is also I guess a similar idea to this, to the relationship between I guess consumerism, I guess you would say, and Hugo, is like how religion, and this is a bit of a darker side of Black Friday in my opinion, and but I think that it goes without a fact that like for example, like in Christianity and like Christmas, which I would say Christmas is a Christian holiday. I think that's okay to say. There's this idea of giving, and Thanksgiving too, which Thanksgiving is more about
into the name.
Thanksgiving is more about giving thanks to like the things you have. Christmas is more about like
Thanksgiving is also a holiday with a weird history for sure.
It is, but that's a whole episode.
Christmas has an even longer and weirder history.
Mm-hmm, yeah, so. But Christmas has this very deeply ingrained idea of giving to others, like giving gifts.
Yeah,
that is like the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like there are these religious values of like being generous, of giving to others, and in a way Black Friday and Cyber Monday and Cyber Week and whatever very much kind of take advantage of that, and like this idea that like we know Christmas is coming up, and like there's this whole theme of like giving to others, and so we're gonna discount everything so you buy a bunch of stuff so that you can give to others, but we make a bunch of money, and it's kind of like
yeah
it's a bit of a twisted relationship in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you can make the same thing with Hanukkah. That's also around this time of year, where there's a series of gifts that
Mm-hmm.
that people give to each other. I'm not too well versed on Kwanzaa and what they do for their traditions, but like stuff like that, like holidays around this time of the year, have these themes of giving, and I think Black Friday, to be frank, takes advantage of that to an extent. And so,
yeah, I guess I sort of have like a couple of rapid fire points to make, and I'm just gonna try and make them as fast as I can.
I mean, no stress. We have 3 minutes left, so
yeah, for sure.
And I have nothing else to say. So,
so sort of get at the first point, there's this quote that like basically the people are very selective about what they choose to take literally in the Bible.
Oh, for sure.
And there's this quote, I think that I first picked it up from Barbara Kingsolver's The Poisonwood Bible, but it's basically that people choose to take the entire Bible literally, except for the one passage that is meant to be literally but is never taken literally, which is the passage about a rich man getting into heaven has the same chance of a camel passing through the eye of a needle.
So my uncle and I talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
He told me about that passage, and I don't want to speak for him, but from what I remember from the conversation was essentially.
It's also interesting though, because that passage is kind of subject to corruption through translation.
Okay, so
like there are different ideas as to what exactly the original text means.
For sure, yeah. But one of the things my uncle brought up, which I thought was really actually very like insightful, or very like, what's the word? How do you make it clairvoyant? Is that
it's very, not clarifying? I don't know.
It was very like sort
enlightening.
Of, yes, there you go. Was that that was for a long time that like people would take that literally, and so they would like try to like give away their wealth or whatever, and then he talked about then with advancements in not advancements but like with changes in philosophy surrounding like economics, like Adam Smith and whatever
the Protestant ethic and the spirit of capitalism.
Yes, there's this idea that the way you can interpret the passage is that by acquiring wealth and like having a company, you are giving to others by like providing them with a job and whatever, and like and providing them with a job and whatnot. However, the thing is like that kind of only is true if like almost all the profits that you make from the company are being reinvested into the company, and like
Mm-hmm.
and you know, creating a better work environment for whatever.
Quote unquote trickle down economics, bro.
However,
Stop the cap.
that's not the case realistically, and people don't completely reinvest like almost like Jeff Bezos. But anyway, like they're very like sort of.
I mean, it's Andrew Carnegie's The Gospel of Wealth.
They're
right?
very disproportionate. Yeah, exactly. But they're a very disproportionate amount of
yeah. So
wealth,
yeah. Anyway, that's
but
that's point one I wanted to make more specifically about Christianity. Point two, I feel like personally, I've had like a very like I've thought a lot about trying to reconcile what I'm like spiritually inclined to believe with sort of how I have to interact with this world that I'm growing up in and living in, and like. As much as I want to be able to say, you know, material goods, like, you know, it's only attachments to this life and the next. It's only stuff that's going to keep your soul here. I'm still like, but at the end of the day, you know, is it my duty to provide? Is it my duty to, like, you know, interact with the, like, this world? Like, I don't know. It's a very complicated, that whole conversation could last hours in and of itself. And finally, this is a throwback to, I want to say, episode 16, Karma Chameleon. But
it's 15 or 16.
15 or 16, either way.
I think it's 16.
Saint Youngmen is the movie I talked about probably the most in that episode, and there is a scene in the movie where it's all about a vignette of celebrating Christmas, and I think it was a very beautiful and like incredibly well done scene about because it's, you know, Jesus and Buddha as, you know, a couple of guys living in an apartment trying to celebrate Christmas. It's really funny because like people will be like, LOL, like, is that Jesus on Christmas? And he's like, nah, it ain't me. But the whole point was that like they were just so, you know, like there's obviously like such a beautiful aesthetic to like, I don't know if this is cringe or not to say, but like that movie does like such a beautiful job presenting the aesthetic of Christmas in Japan, and it's just like, man, like what a time. But anyway, the sort of ultimate moral is about like, you know, taking solace in others and, you know, loving others while like sort of skirting around the capitalist. You know, anyway. In
essence, I think that's what my family tries to
same here.
But, you know, like you said, with sort of the sort of societal influences, like in our realistic world. Yeah. People buy into the sort of consumerism. It's like, you know, my family and I buy gifts for each other, right? So, like, we're not like...
It's hard to reconcile, for sure.
But yeah, that's all the time we have for today. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We wanted to do a little bit of a more serious one, and we hope you had a great Thanksgiving. If you're gonna go Black Friday shopping, be careful, or just stay home for Cyber Monday. But yeah. Usually I don't say this, but you're gonna take them out.
Yeah, let's take them out. Thank you so much. You've been listening to 101.1 FM, WBRULP, WFOOLPW, VVXLP Providence.
You guys can catch us on the Outta Pocket Podcast website. That is www.theoutapocketpodcast.com. And Outta is spelled Outta. On our podcast, you can find links to our Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Instagram.
You can also find our contact page where you can shoot us an email directly. Let us know what you like, what you want to see, whether you'd like to be on the show. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into the Outta Pocket Podcast. We'll see you next week. And for your Outta Pocket advice this week, disregard everything we just talked about. You know, go out, have fun, buy yourself some material goods to your heart's content. All hail Daddy Jeff Bezos.
Catch you guys later, and take care.